from the 24-inch pythons to the body slam heard round the world. One man didn't just play the part of a superhero, he became one. On July 24, 2025, the world of professional wrestling lost that superhero. Terry Bollea, the man known to millions as Hulk Hogan. For an entire generation, Hulk Hogan was professional wrestling. But beyond the catchphrases and the red and yellow, his career was defined by a series of legendary moments that didn't just win matches, they built an empire. Today we're looking back at the moments that made Hulk Hogan immortal and forever changed the landscape of professional wrestling. Let me tell you something, brother. We're about to take a journey through the biggest moments of one of the most iconic careers in sports entertainment history. We'll follow the story from the explosion of a cultural phenomenon, through the greatest spectacle in WrestleMania history, to a turn that nobody saw coming and shook the very foundation of the business. So, train, say your prayers, and take your vitamins, because we're counting down the chronological, career-defining moments of Hulk Hogan. This story doesn't start with a whisper. It starts with a roar. The date: January 23, 1984. The place: the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. The reigning WWF champion was the Iron Sheik, despised foreign villain who had brutally ended the nearly 6-year reign of the All-American hero, Bob Backlund. The Sheik was a master of the camel clutch, a submission hold that seemed impossible to escape. America didn't just need a new hero, it was crying out for one. Enter a 6'8", 300-pound force of nature from Venice Beach, California. With his theme song, Eye of the Tiger, blaring through the arena, Hulk Hogan walked into the Garden to an electric reception. He was a superhero come to life, a mountain of muscle with charisma that poured out of him. Just a month prior, the Iron Sheik had controversially taken the title from Backlund, setting the stage for a new challenger. Hogan was that challenger, and the crowd was ready for a revolution. The match itself was short, lasting less than 6 minutes, but its impact was immeasurable. The Iron Sheik dominated the early moments, trapping Hogan in the dreaded camel clutch. For a second, it looked like the new hero would fall just like the last. But then, something incredible happened. Hogan began to stir. He powered up, pushing to his feet with the Sheik still on his back, breaking the unbreakable hold and sending the New York crowd into a frenzy. He followed up with a thunderous leg drop and pinned the Sheik for the 1-2-3. Madison Square Garden didn't just cheer, it erupted. Fans were literally jumping out of their seats. In that moment, on that night, Hulkamania was born. It wasn't just a title win. It was the beginning of a cultural movement. Hogan's victory launched a golden age for the WWF, transforming it from a regional spectacle into a global entertainment powerhouse. He became a household name, urging kids to say their prayers and eat their vitamins, and setting the standard for what a superstar could be. If the birth of Hulkamania was the spark, then WrestleMania III was the explosion that shot professional wrestling into the pop culture stratosphere. For years, Andre the Giant was Hulk Hogan's friend. He was the first to congratulate Hogan in the locker room after his championship win. But in 1987, the eighth wonder of the world shocked everyone by turning on the Hulkster. Challenging him for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania III, he aligned himself with Hogan's nemesis, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and, in a moment of pure contempt, ripped the iconic yellow t-shirt and crucifix from Hogan's body, setting the stage for the biggest main event in wrestling history. The Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan housed what the WWF announced as a record-breaking crowd of over 93,000 fans, all there to witness the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. While that number has been disputed, with some sources suggesting it was closer to 78,000, the energy in the building was undeniable. Andre the Giant was billed by the company as being undefeated for 15 years. Although he had suffered losses outside of the WWF, the story was set. He was a 525-pound behemoth who had never been slammed on a major WWF stage. The central question hanging over the entire event was simple. Could Hulk Hogan do the impossible? Early in the match, Hogan tried. He went for the body slam, but Andre's sheer weight was too much. The Giant fell on top of him, nearly getting a pin in the opening moments. For most of the match, Andre dominated, his size and power overwhelming the champion. But then, it happened. Hogan began to hulk up. He absorbed Andre's offense, the energy from the thousands of Hulkamaniacs fueling his comeback. After flooring Andre with a massive clothesline, Hogan stood over his fallen foe, the entire stadium on its feet. He grabbed Andre, lifted him into the air, and with a surge of adrenaline, slammed the giant to the mat. The Silverdome shook. It was the body slam heard round the world, a moment so iconic it has become folklore. While Hogan had slammed Andre years before in smaller venues, this was the one that mattered. The one that cemented his legacy forever. He followed it with the running leg drop for the win, but the slam was the story. That single feat of strength transcended wrestling, becoming a defining image of the 1980s and proving that with Hulkamania, anything was possible. These first two moments alone defined an entire era of wrestling, but everyone has their favorite. Was it the birth of Hulkamania or the slam that shook the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, make sure you hit that subscribe button because the story is far from over. After conquering the giant, Hulkamania was running wilder than ever, but the landscape of the WWF was shifting. A new dynamic force was on the rise. The Macho Man Randy Savage. After Savage captured the WWF Championship at WrestleMania IV, with a helpful assist from Hogan in his corner, the two biggest stars in the universe decided to join forces. They shook hands, and in a moment that felt like a superhero team-up, the Mega Powers were born. For over a year, they were an unstoppable duo. With the lovely Miss Elizabeth by their side, Hogan and Savage were the ultimate dream team. Taking on all comers, including formidable foes like Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant, known as the Megabucks. Their combined star power was off the charts, and they headlined major events together, looking for all the world like the best of friends. But beneath the surface, cracks began to form. The Macho Man was a notoriously intense and jealous competitor. He started to believe that Hogan was trying to steal his spotlight and, more importantly, the affections of Miss Elizabeth. The tension simmered for months, building through subtle glances and moments of friction. At the 1989 Royal Rumble, Hogan accidentally eliminated Savage, and the Macho Man's look of betrayal spoke volumes. The breaking point came during a tag team match on a TV special called The Main Event. During a bout against the Twin Towers, Miss Elizabeth was knocked unconscious at ringside. Hogan, horrified, left the match to carry her backstage for medical attention, abandoning Savage to fend for himself. When Hogan returned, an enraged Savage slapped him across the face. The partnership was over. Backstage, the powder keg finally exploded in one of the most memorable promos of the era, with Savage accusing Hogan of having jealous eyes and attacking his former friend. This epic breakup set the main event for WrestleMania V, a deeply personal grudge match for the WWF Championship. It was a masterclass in long-term storytelling that proved even the most powerful alliances can be destroyed by pride and jealousy. By the mid-1990s, the wrestling world had changed. Hulk Hogan, the ultimate American hero, had left the WWF for its chief competitor, World Championship Wrestling WCW, the red and yellow persona. While still popular, it's beginning to feel dated to an audience that was craving edgier, more realistic content. Sensing this shift, Hogan made the single most shocking and impactful decision of his entire career. The scene was Bash at the Beach in 1996. Two former WWF stars, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, known as the Outsiders, had been invading WCW for weeks, promising a hostile takeover and a mystery third partner for their main event match. The wrestling world was buzzing, speculating on who this third man could be. As the match reached its climax, with WCW's heroes in trouble, Hulk Hogan, the man who was the living embodiment of WCW's fight against the Outsiders, marched to the ring. The crowd roared, believing their hero had arrived to save the day. But then, the unthinkable happened. Hogan entered the ring, looked at his supposed allies, and then dropped his signature leg drop on Macho Man Randy Savage. The arena fell into a stunned silence, quickly followed by a shower of garbage thrown into the ring by betrayed and disgusted fans. In his post-match interview, Hogan told the fans to stick it, declaring the formation of the New World Order, or NWO. This wasn't just a heel turn. It was the death of Hulkamania and the birth of Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He traded the red and yellow for black and white, becoming the villainous leader of the most dominant faction in wrestling history. This moment revitalized his career, ignited the Monday Night Wars between the WWF and WCW, and proved that the biggest hero could become the most hated villain. It's still widely considered the greatest heel turn in the history of professional wrestling. Years later, after the fall of WCW, Hulk Hogan returned to the company now known as WWE in 2002. He was still Hollywood Hogan, the leader of the NWO, and a villain. At the same time, the undisputed top star in WWE was The Rock, a charismatic, electrifying champion who represented a new generation. A collision was inevitable. The stage was set for WrestleMania X8 in Toronto, in a match billed as Icon versus Icon. The build-up was intense. Hogan, the villain from the past, against The Rock, the hero of the present. But something funny happened on the way to the ring in Toronto. The Canadian crowd, full of fans who grew up on Hulkamania, refused to boo their childhood hero. Despite Hogan being the heel, the Skydome overwhelmingly cheered for him, creating one of the most electric and unpredictable atmospheres in WrestleMania history. What followed was pure magic. The match itself wasn't a technical masterpiece, but it was sports entertainment at its absolute peak. Every punch, every taunt, was met with a deafening roar from the crowd, who were torn between two eras. The pivotal moment came when Hogan, after taking a beating from The Rock, began to hulk up. The villainous Hollywood persona melted away, and for a few minutes, the Red and Danilo hero of the 80s was back, feeding off the energy of the crowd. In the end, The Rock was victorious, pinning Hogan after a series of rock bottoms and a people's elbow, but the result almost didn't matter. After the match, the two icons stood in the ring and shook hands, a sign of mutual respect that officially passed the torch from one generation to the next. The crowd's reaction turned Hogan back into a beloved hero overnight, proving that, even after all the years and all the changes, the power of Hulkamania was, indeed, immortal. It was a perfect final chapter in the main event career of wrestling's biggest star, from the birth of a nation of Hulkamaniacs to slamming a giant. From the explosion of the most powerful tag team to a turn that created a new world order. And finally, to an iconic showdown with the next generation. Hulk Hogan's career is a highlight reel of moments that define professional wrestling. He wasn't just a wrestler. He was a cultural architect. His charisma built the foundation of WrestleMania. His rivalries created legends. His shocking heel turn changed the very language of storytelling in the industry. While his legacy is, for many, a complicated one, there's no debating his impact. No single performer has a greater collection of moments that fundamentally altered the course of sports entertainment. His shadow looms large over the entire wrestling universe, and his influence will be felt for generations to come. So, one final time, we have to ask the question that he posed to countless opponents and to the entire world. What you're gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? Thanks for watching.